All right.
Fun.
Welcome to the
everyone.
Money Rollercoaster webinar that Ellie and I are putting together tonight. We really love this format for interactive. So we're keen not to just talk at you. It doesn't mean that we may not fall into that trap, but please, please chime in, please ask questions, please sort of contribute to the process. We'd love to hear from you and where you're all at and what questions come up for you as we go through this awesome topic about the money roller coaster and how to get off the money roller coaster.
Yes. So thanks, Lisa. Welcome, everyone. If you want to mute, it's probably easier if we all mute and make sure that we don't have any background noise. If you hear a baby in the background, that's me and Hugo, who's around, because I kind of forgot that I had a babysitter for Hugo. But anyway, let's get started. So Lisa, you want to go to the next slide? Yeah. So why we want to just talk about who this is for? It's because we sometimes get lost in all the webinars, and I know I've actually added often to all these webinars where I don't actually attend. So this is for people who have this brilliant idea, are passionate about it, have a purpose-driven business, and are probably in their first year of business, where you get to this phase where you feel a bit frazzled, potentially completely confused about what you're supposed to be doing, are working super long hours and not necessarily getting the return on investment for it, and are feeling potentially a little bit overwhelmed. So if that's you, let's hear from you, and let's see how long you've been in business for and what you're doing. And Wendy, did you want to go first?
Okay. Here in Adelaide, I've just sorry, the soup went down the wrong hole. Been open since September. I've got we're calling it, I've got my business here, which is Body Massage and True Health. I do massage, reflexology, aromatherapy, fitness, yoga, meditation, and other things. But I can't. Ayurvedic lifestyle consultant, and other things.
She does a really great Tibetan singing bowl healings too.
Cool. And now that it's started to get a little bit too big in the centre, we've actually had to create the centre as a different identity as to itself. So it's called the Northern Holistic Wellness Centre, which is also used as a training facility. And been going since September. We have no income, and all we're doing is paying for expenses at the moment, and that's it.
Well, there's been a lot of renovations as well. So
renovations. I've got 2 people on board. I've got Wendy on board with the holistic psychology. I've got a hypnotherapist, and whoever else wants to come on board, they're welcomed.
And I'm just about to finish NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, which you mums would love to learn a lot about.
Is it? Will
especially with your babies.
I was going to say, help with our wrangling.
Well, the neuro pathways are mainly very ingrained between the ages of 0 and 7. So my marker that I'm hoping to market is parents. Yeah, working with parents.
Okay, great.
Cool. Excellent.
Who wants to jump in next and say hi?
Yeah, I'm happy to. I might have to say goodnight to my son in a minute. He's up late. You're probably a bit further than me. I actually work from home 3 days a week doing digital marketing work for an agency based in regional New South Wales. But it's working for someone. So as Ellie and Lisa are aware, I'm trying to start my own business, actually probably doing more of what I'm doing now, but working for myself. The dream isn't that at all, but it's a quick way of, for me, of bringing some income in. So yeah, circumstances just recently changed. So kind of I'm just flipping it on its head, and I'm at the beginning. So yes, my brain is a bit mashed at the moment.
Great.
Oh, yeah.
But don't worry.
Thanks, Amy.
That you're in good company there.
So true.
Yeah,
And
that's my background. That's my kind of what I've been doing for a long time. So it just makes sense to do something for myself rather than working for others at the moment, which would be lovely.
Yep. Great. And
yes.
Who else would like to jump in and say hi?
I'm happy to. I'm Josie. Josie Coco. I'm a health and wellbeing mentor and a certified body talk practitioner. This is my third or fourth business, can't remember which. And this is the first time I've sort of done business on my own. I've always had teams. So, can you hear me?
Yeah.
You can. I just saw things flashing at me. Yeah, so I've sort of been paddling along for a couple of years doing it privately, but also finishing off raising my teenage son. So he's kind of gone now. And I'm sort of wanting to put my effort into creating this business. And because I've been introduced to all you lovely ladies online, I'm quite excited about the whole idea of having a business online. So it's a whole new ball game for me. It's completely different. I've been in business for about 25 years, so that was long before cell phones even were heard of. so big changes. So, I'm just quite interested in what you have to say. I obviously know a lot about profitability and managing finances and things. That was my main role in my businesses. But I'm just keen to hear what you have to say because it is a different model online. And so, I'm just sucking up information.
Great. Awesome. We're looking forward to hopefully, imparting some of what we've picked up in this space at any rate.
Right.
And I think Lynette, you had your hand up next to say hi.
Yeah, I can go next. So I registered my business in May last year, but due to life getting in the way, so I had a relationship breakdown, and then my mum early this year got sick and passed away. So I did the math yesterday, and I've really only actually been in business for about 6 months. Luckily, the year has given me time to actually digest everything that you actually have to do. I think I heavily underestimated just how much you have to do when you're in business on your own, the whole, E-Myth Revisited thing. So I'm a technical writer and trainer, so I design branded templates in Microsoft Office packages. I do systems training, so how to use Office and other systems smarter, and I also do business process documentation, so technical writing. And yeah, I haven't made a profit yet. I've made enough income to feed the business, but I'm not actually taking anything home yet, so I'm keen to change that.
Great. Yeah. Thank you. Thanks for the intro.
And I've heard a few times now that like you're paying your expenses, which in actual fact is already, you're breaking even, which is fantastic. So that's a celebration point in itself, I must say. So yay for you guys.
Now, have we got anyone else that wants to jump in quickly and say hi before we move on? We have an iPhone 6 user.
I'm happy to. Bev, I don't have my video on because my internet's a little bit tonight.
Yep.
Oh,
Bev, you are breaking up, unfortunately. Oops. Bev?
I think we lost her.
Oh, unfortunately, yeah. Look, I'll do a quick intro. Bev, Bev, we're losing you, unfortunately, so I'll just quickly do it. I'll probably get it not 100%, but Bev is super organised, super talented, and is also helping us in a role as a virtual assistant as well. So unfortunately, we didn't catch what you had, your own intro, Bev, but we might have to move on. Sorry if we've lost you just in that process.
Let's see. Anyone else? Solly?
If we haven't managed to get you to do an intro, then onus on you to jump in at the next point and share when there's some break points and do a bit of an intro there. We would love to hear from everyone that's on tonight, and also get the benefit of you knowing each other and hearing of each other's businesses, and connecting dots, generating leads, as we're about to talk about.
Yes. So why we're doing this webinar, just very briefly, is because we've seen lots of brilliant and beautiful women with great ideas and awesome value to add, kind of fail in terms of setting up and making it sustainable. So what we really wanted to do is just lay out what works and what doesn't work, and what we've seen work in our 20 plus years of experience as consultants. So to help you with that is we put a workbook together. I'm not sure if you downloaded it, but if you haven't, I suggest you do it now. And really what we want to do is write down your insights, your words, capture whilst we're chatting away and talking and exchanging information. Also figure out what resonates for you, what makes you tick, what kind of is your light bulb moment, so that you don't lose it. And it also helps you memorize it, because apparently there's this chemical process that happens in your brain as soon as you write something down physically. And it also helps you later on to reflect on it. So hopefully that will be of help for you guys. Oh, Solly can't talk, she's saying. Sorry, Solly, all good. Hopefully you can talk later, maybe. Anyway. So let's see if we can help your brilliant ideas to get through, to pass the first year or get started, for Amy, for instance. So who we are, just very briefly, we call ourselves kind of business mechanics. We've been management consultants for a long time, both in big corporates, small corporates, and in freelance positions. And together we hold over 20 years of experience. Lisa a bit more, because she started earlier. I had to gallivant around the world and travel a bit and, play, as you do. And what we both are really good at is integration. So seeing the dots and being able to connect them. Looking from the outside in, it's always easier. And we're trying to do it to ourselves, but we sometimes do need a little bit of help with that. But that's really our knack. We have a knack for business. We've seen a lot of business, both the good, the bad, and ugly. And we want to bring that to our passion, which is really helping other people, in particular ambitious mamas like ourselves, to work smarter. And we believe in having a tribe and building a tribe and needing a tribe especially as a female entrepreneur, to flourish. So that's what this is all about for us: building a tribe, connecting with people, getting to do what we're passionate about and what we're good at. Over to you, Lisa.
Thanks. So one of the things that we first wanted you to give some thought to is what you think does drive your profit the most. We posted it a couple of times in Facebook groups this week around, was it your shining personality? Was it how many customers you had? Was it your expenses or your profit? How much you spend on your expenses? What are the things that really drive your profit? So just give that a bit of thought as we kick off. Just try and identify for yourself at the moment, what is it that you think is driving your results, your profit results the most? So it's a good place just to start in terms of where you are right now. And this is the model we're going to go through tonight, is around how to drive more profit in your business. First of all, think big. We love it when people think big. So make big plans, and then go for them. But there's 5 key drivers of your profit. The first one is generating leads. The second one is your conversion rate, which gives you how many customers you get. The third one is how many transactions those customers spend with you or do business with you. The fourth one is how much they spend per transaction. And the last one is the actual profit margin. So they're the five drivers that we're going to go through tonight and talk to in terms of how you can up your results. So by just increasing your efforts 10% in each of these areas, that can lead to a massive 60% increase in your profit.
Yep. And I see some people massively scribbling. It is actually in your workbook as well, the graphic. So you don't have to write it down feverishly. It's there.
You did tell them they'd learn better if they wrote it down.
Yeah.
So the first one's about lead generation. And the thing there is really about being visible. And it's a really interesting point for female entrepreneurs because turning up and being visible is probably in some ways often quite a big challenge, particularly if you've come from environments where that isn't the norm. Being all you, being authentic and being all you isn't the way that business is done. So, I mean, when we talk about, it'd be interesting for you just to write in your workbooks a little bit around what it is that lead generation means to you. The things that we think are really key to it is about bringing out the best in you, what makes you shine, so what you love doing, what you're good at doing, and the lifestyles you want, which is your passion, drive, and skills, to connect and reach the right people. So one of the really interesting insights around lead generation is that we've worked with quite a few women before who are out there getting quite a good reach, but they're not necessarily getting reach to their desired clients. Sometimes we often preach to the converted or we're talking to fellow practitioners as opposed to necessarily the people who most need our services.
Yeah, and this potentially can go for both online and offline business. But I think in the online space, the offline stuff that you can have where you can go and physically see someone, the online presence and having that sustained and consistent across all the different platforms really increase that trust factor that you can't really replicate. You can't really put your offline presence online just like that. You need to actually work on it, which we found was a big learning curve for us in terms of what do you do, how do you do it, what tools do you use, what social media is appropriate, where do you feel comfortable. And funnily enough, what I find myself is certain social media, I kind of go, that's so not for me. And other stuff, I kind of go, yeah, I can do this. I can totally do this. This fits my style. So it's definitely finding that shine, understanding your shine, and then seeing where you're comfortable, what's not, and potentially also pushing a little bit outside of those comfort zones to let the magic happen.
And we are all about numbers and owning your numbers. And one of the really interesting things that in this area is how well do you track how many people you're reaching. So I will confess that Ellie keeps me on point in this area. She's the master at reporting and keeping track of who we're reaching, how that's improving on a month-to-month basis. But that's a really important what you track, what you start to consciously look at, you can actually improve.
Yeah, it's kind of like what you focus on will grow. So the energy follows the focus. And in your workbook, there's some things that you could think about doing or are doing, and you can check or not how you're doing in terms of the lead generation. So the next one was to add value in the conversion. So it's great to attract people and to get them to come and talk to you and chat and have a great time, really. But then how do you convert them? The question is, when do they actually become a paying customer? Because once they pay, money is in the door in exchange for what you add in terms of value. So the idea there is to build a lateral connection, not so much a hierarchical. So not a doctor-patient type exercise, because we found that doesn't necessarily work. It's more like you've got your stuff, I've got my stuff. How can we work together, or what can we learn from each other? It's much more of an approachable way of connecting with someone than to say, I know best, I am the expert in this, and you don't know anything about this or XYZ. So that mutual ground, finding that mutual ground and truly connecting with someone is very important. And it also links back to the authentic piece in the lead generation. If you're not authentic, and if you're, preaching and putting yourself out there as a know-it-all, people will probably not be as attracted to work with you as they would be if they would find you a likable person that they can relate to. So making it human, making it personal actually helps in that. For us, conversion is really around being smart about where you invest your energy. So understanding where your clients are struggling, what the symptoms are, and whether they hang out. So where do you find them, and how do they make decisions? So understanding, really getting into the client's head, or your ideal client's head, to understand what they're really struggling with, how that presents itself on a daily basis or in their life, and then what your solution is. Because sometimes those two don't necessarily match up. So you have this great solution, but you're talking about the solution and not about the problem. So people kind of go, yeah, this is a great solution, but is it for me? Yeah. I don't know. So making sure that they can actually follow you in terms of what's their problem, start from where they are, and then walk them through to your solution as a potential option, so that they can self-select and understand and realize this is something for me or this is not something for me. Because getting a no is also valuable, because then you can ask, why not? Right? You can go a little bit further in that. And it helps to have a clear structure on that, and you can have a clear structure in terms of the thought process. You can have an opt-in that talks about the problems and then the potential solutions. And there's multiple ways, but it's always helpful in your conversations with people to have, discovery calls, etc., where you can say, okay, these are the benefits of my solution or having to work with me. This is how your life will change. This is how we will address the symptoms. And this is what we will not offer, for instance, so that they're also clear about what they can expect in what you do. And the easier you can make it to connect and to pay as well, to sign up, the better. So I saw someone post the other day, I think it was Laura, and she said, tech tip, make sure it's easy to sign up. Get something that doesn't require you to print something, sign it, and then scan it, and then send it back. And I was like, God, I would never do anything like that again, unless it's like for buying a house or something, like super legal. Right? But if you want to do that and you want to sell them a $45 product, they're probably not going to do it because it's too much effort. Right? It's not easy. So if you make it easy, it's easier to actually say yes and get them over the line.
And so I think one of the interesting things about these first 2 points is that you'll notice that what we found is when people talk about their profit and driving profit, they often talk about how many customers they're getting. So the big thing around these two areas that's worth noting down in your notebook is first of all, what are you actually doing to be visible and generate leads? And then what have you got in place that helps convert those interested parties into wanting to work with you? So, just take a sec to write down some of the things that you're already doing and potentially some of the things that you think you could probably do, a little bit more to be more visible, to get more reach of the sort of people that you want to do business with, and also what steps you need to take to actually make that an easier proposition for them to convert into paying clients for you. Is there anyone that wants to jump in at this point with a question or something that they want to clarify before we move on to the next section? Don't be shy.
No such thing as a stupid question.
Yeah, these are the sort of things I'm trying to get my head around. So when you say what steps to make it easier to convert, I've been in Facebook groups for about, I really like Facebook, so I've been mucking around with it for a few years, but even though I'm a bit older than you guys. So I've been there and being involved, and I think I'm kind of trying to pick up what's going on.
Yeah.
What I love to do is, so in my mentoring, I mentor my clients quite a lot, as well as do energy healing with them. So what I've decided to do, I'm also a writer. So I've decided to start writing a lot of blogs to give information so that people can help themselves, because that's really what I'm doing in my clinic all the time, is helping them help themselves. So I'm using that as my way of connecting with people. So just the giving of information and using that as my mini posts and things in the Facebook groups, that sort of thing. I don't have an opt-in at this point in time. I am at the moment preparing one. But I'm kind of guessing that's the next thing, is to have something that I have a lot of free material on my site. So I have healing techniques that they can download. They're not opt-ins, they're just free material. So I have that available. But I'm thinking that the opt-in, I need to build my list, right? I definitely need to be working on building my list. So I'm thinking that's the next thing, is to give them a fabulous opt-in. And then the steps after that, I haven't kind of worked out yet.
Yeah, I think really, there's an element of building a list, because that's your lead generation. That's people who are interested in working, who are in your target market, who are interested in working with you. But the conversion thing is really is as simple as is about them asking or giving them an option of how they can work with you. So in terms of your blogs, it may be as simple as saying, you including a blog that says, well, this is how this applied to a previous client, and this is how many sessions they did with me. And should you wish to book in a session with me, this is how you go about it.
Yeah. Okay.
So have a discovery call. So say, if you want to explore further what we can do with each other, or how we can work with me, just put it at the bottom of your blogs and already.
Yeah, and I have that also on my site. That I have it that they can schedule a 30-minute chat with me to have a chat.
Yeah.
But that's quite a good. That's a thing I haven't. I'm getting my head around. Like I've been to done a presentation recently, and I really nailed that. Getting it, talking about it from their perspective, but that's quite hard for me because I'm not used to doing it. I'm used to really coming from a practitioner talking and training other practitioners, not actually talking to clients in terms of
we actually,
from their perspective.
And that's where we find putting a framework together is really, really helpful, because you can put yourself in that position where you're in your client's position, and you can do all the thinking about what it is that they're going through, and what their problems are, and what the sequences are that they would go through to get to the points where they would then work for you and work with you, and how they would move forward. And you can capture that all in a diagram or into a graphic, and that way essentially it uses a little bit less brain power for you every time you have to have those discussions, because you've already captured that framework that you want to use to frame the conversation and to be in their shoes. And it's something that you can build into your toolkit that makes it a lot easier for you to do that work every time.
And it helps structure any conversation as well, right? So they can actually pick themselves where they are at, where they think they're at. Right. So they know.
Okay.
The next steps.
At the moment, sorry.
Yeah, go.
At the moment, I'm also working on like an infographic, like you said, which is like 9 steps that people go through to resolve like a mindset problem or a sabotaging behavior or something like that. That if they're consciously working on it themselves, they'll go through 9 steps. Some of them they're not aware of. And so I'm pulling out all those 9 steps and probably going to kind of build my mentoring around that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fabulous. And you can blog about it. You can repurpose the content that you're doing with your mentoring and have bits of pieces in your blogs, for instance, so that you don't have to double up on your work because you've already done the thinking.
Yeah.
And they can follow it. Right? You can link it back to something that they can visually see, or
they can see how it works. Yeah. Okay.
That's great. And then they can self-select, right? The idea is that you can't force them to buy from you. You can't force them to work with you. It needs to be a decision, a selection, really.
Yeah. Yeah.
And of course, there's always the intangible feeling of, yes, I did connect to that person, or that person did not resonate with me. That's the personal stuff that you can never ever get away from. But that's all of the other stuff. It's helping them get more towards working with you. So the first 2 drivers are really around getting people in the door, right? Getting leads, so growing your group, growing your tribe, and then getting people to convert so that they become customers. The next one is really about looking ahead. So it's around visualizing or seeing the future state for them, which is what we just talked about with you, Josie, as well. This is a bit of a funny one. Where it's kind of like Maslow's pyramid, right? You first start with the food, water, shelter, and then you move up. Nowadays, there's Wi-Fi in your physical needs, probably, given that we're all so connected and we run online businesses and that sort of fun stuff. So, but yeah, it is really around creating that product funnel. Now, what you see in front of you is our product funnel, and this is a way of doing it. It's not the way of doing it, but it gives you an idea of what we do to both generate the leads and then retain the customers, really. So retain people in or see what the options are based on a certain pathway that they're going through. And it's a little bit about like having a crystal ball. So you know what's coming because you've worked your way backwards, really, from the end, right? So you have a future state for your client in mind, and all the bits and pieces before that, all the steps they need to go through before that, you can actually map back to your programs. So if you can link your products, your services to the client's experience through something like a funnel where it becomes a low threshold to start working with you and easy to keep working with you, then you can actually retain your customer in that way. So there's 2 ways. This is the average spend per customer. So they might buy from you not just once but twice. They might upgrade from one package to the next package, or they might want to have custom coaching after they did a structured program, so that they can work more directly with you. And it depends on the needs. It depends on the journey that the customer is going through. But having that crystal ball linked to of the journey that they're going to go through and linking your services to that is absolute key, right? And the biggest tip we can give you there is your one-on-one time is your premium, because there's only one of you and you can only spend your time once. You can't get it back. So your one-on-one time needs to be, the top product, really premium service. If not, you will always remain working one-on-one. So the more you can serve one-to-many, the more people you can reach, the more impact you can have, right? And it's not just in terms of money, but it's also in terms of impact, in terms of the invaluables, right? The people you can help, the support you can offer. If you can structure it in a way where you can have it one-to-many, it's extremely powerful. So group programs, video recordings, free content. You're sprinkling fairy dust of yourself everywhere, and it's the great impact that you really that drives you. Right? It's the passion link, right? So do keep your one-on-one time as a premium. And the other thing that I think Anne we discussed last time is about the packaging. If you walk into a store, you have 2 identical products. They might actually be differently packaged. They might actually attract different people. Right, you'd have aftershave for men, or that's probably a bad example, but you have shaving cream, for instance. I use shaving cream. I'm not sure if you use shaving cream, but I use shaving cream to shave my legs. My husband my partner use shaving cream. They're differently packaged, but they're the same stuff coming from the same factory. right? Same goes for your services. So think about what kind of experience you want as a purchase experience for your customer, what kind of package you offer. And then also a marketing trick that we've picked up on in big business is you have different packages. You have the bronze, the silver, and the gold package. And people tend to pick in the middle. So if you have 3 price points or 3 packages, they will pick the second one. It's kind of like 90% of the time. So in terms of pricing, it's important to look at that as well, where you kind of go, look, you can do X, you can do Y, you can do Z with me. So that you give them the option and then they can self-select again. But be smart about how you package up the services and what extra value add per package, basically. So the other thing I would want to give you around packaging is if you break it down into the smallest components, you can reconfigure the packaging at any point in time for any client in time, for any product funnel as you see them developing. So it's about, being able to kind of like use it like Lego, where you have the building blocks and you can just pull it together as per need or as per customer or as per type of niche or type of ideal client, or, whether it's around massage therapy or whether it's around NLP. Those different things require probably different packages, but if you break them down and see what the common elements are and what the unique elements are, and you map them that way, you can always pull them back together quite easily without too much effort, instead of going back to the start and starting from scratch again. That was a lot of info. You want to take a minute to write down whatever you thought as light bulb moments and information and ideas in your own words, because I just threw a lot of information out there. I'm going to take a sip of water.
Can I just ask a question?
Go for it.
How have you found that making up like a menu, so people can actually create their own packages? Do you find that works as well? So I want that, but I don't want that. But you have like prices next to each like a meal, like a menu,
like a modularized menu. Yeah.
So people can sort of pay for the create their own packages if they wish. Do you find that works?
It depends on the service, I would say. I think some things don't go together.
It's also coming back to that idea about knowing your customer often better than they know themselves. So say, for instance, I'll give you an example. I might go and see a kinesiologist for the first time. I don't actually know what I'm in for. They know when I come to them as the first time I've been that I'm going to have certain requirements, or there's going to be certain things that so if I come along and have my first session and they say at the end of it, have you, I don't know, heard of this particular book, or this is really connected to what we do today, that I didn't know that existed. So sometimes, although the card, I suppose, helps you create a guideline of what your pricing is, the idea of packaging sometimes is more about knowing better in some ways than, because you've worked with lots of different clients who have similar problems, what they need before they need it. I know the other example, the other analogy that people like to use is, say, going to the hairdresser, where you sort of, you might show a particular style, or you might say, well, this is the outcome that I want, but you're not telling them how to cut your hair, because you're assuming that's how that they know how to do that. So often when you do package up your things based on really knowing what it is that what your client wants or needs in a particular situation, that's when you can essentially build in more of a premium, because you're understanding their journey and you're understanding what it is that they're going to need.
Yeah.
Ultimately, before they do.
And you kind of preempted us here in terms of mastering your money stuff. Good stuff. Natural knack for business, I told you.
Does that answer your question?
Cool.
Yeah. So the next section about master your money, this is where the rubber really hits the road. This is where I think we get a bit geeky and we get really excited. This is the bit where you start to pull it all together and you say, okay, what is it that I'm charging? How much do I need to sell of that particular thing? And how much time does it take for me to deliver and serve, sell, and support that to do it? And this is really the crux of it, because often, when you work backwards, you're actually getting a much better result. You're saying, well, how much do I want to earn out of my business? Therefore, how many things do I need to sell, and at what price, and how much time will that take? Time's probably the one thing that we all have the same of, and that's really capped, I suppose. That as far as I know, none of us can magically get more than those 24 hours in the day. And the reality for most of us is that we actually have lots of other things going on in our lives. And for us, it's really important to actually optimize, more limited hours. And when you look at that full financial piece for your business, that's really important too, because it may be that there's a service that you're doing that takes 4 hours or 5 hours by the time you prep for your client and write a report afterwards and things like that. And it may be something that you're charging quite a small amount for, compared to another service which is relatively easy and only takes that 1.5 hours. So when you start to combine those variables together in terms of what the price is, how many you're selling, what the time factor is for you to do it, as well as what do I actually want to make out of my business so as that it's sustainable. That's the essence of mastering your money and getting exactly the result that you want out of your business. There's nothing, I don't know if it's depressing or more demotivating than having in your head that you're going to be earning a certain figure out of your business, and then not hitting it and not knowing why, and sort of being a bit hope and a prayer. Whereas if you really look at mastering your money, you're saying, well, what does that need to look like for my business to work? And then you can work backwards with what we've been talking about as well. So how am I going to convert people? How many people am I going to need to reach? And you can see month on month, quarter on quarter, year on year improvement as you build your business without it feeling like it's all random.
Yeah. You're in control. Well, owning your numbers means that you're in control. The business works for you. You're not working, the business, you're not working in your business, you're working on your business. Okay. I'll give you a minute to write stuff down before we move on to the next one, the last one, which is around profit margin. There's Hugo. He's dreaming, I think.
I was going to say he's been a gem, really.
He's a good kid. He's super relaxed. I'm very lucky. So the last part is really about working smarter, not harder. And I love this graphic, but that's me loving turtles, I guess. There's 3 components to this for me. It's around cost reduction, so seeing where you can kind of squeeze, time reduction, efficiency, and pricing, really, and it's branding. And so pricing is kind of like a bit of a golden thread throughout the last 3. Because it's big, it's huge. You can do so much with it. But let me talk about cost reduction first. So I've spoken to ladies who've invested, and one of them invested $50,000 into a website. while she was working on the business model and the monetization of her product. So she hadn't even landed on the actual business model, but she was building a product. So those two can go in conjunction, but it's kind of dangerous to sink 50,000 in it of your own money. It was her own money. And then not even be clear about how you're going to make that back. So again, it's about knowing your numbers and starting with the end in mind before you make big commitments like that, and being smart about where you start investing, right? So where do you put your money first and foremost? And where do you put your time first and foremost, which is really around, getting the clients in the door, getting servicing paid clients first and foremost, getting clients in the door and converting them, rather than having that fancy CRM system, which we have and are totally utilizing. But yeah, so there's steps to take, and it's time bound, it's success bound, I guess. It's cash flow bound. Being smart about that and not doing what's nice, but doing what you need to be doing is a good focus for cost reduction. Then the time reduction is really around how can you get the business working for you without you working in it. And that's really a way we can look at leverage products. So, a product that you develop over time, potentially based on your client work, and you then start selling it as a standalone product, so that anyone could buy it anytime and you don't have to touch it again. And think of ebooks, think of certain courses that you can take, right? You make it once and then it returns on the investment. The only thing you need to do is still promote it. That always stays. You can't just leave it and think people will just find it miraculously. There's always a need to put it out there and show it to the world. The other thing that you can think of is affiliates. So working with other people, complementary services, for instance. And if you believe in them, if you are on the same vibe, if you are on the same path and you're comfortable, try and see if you can work together. Collaborate, build affiliate links, get a commission really on what they sell through your network. Because your list is your hard work, but it's also worth a lot to other people because they can instantly reach all those people as well. So that exchange of value there is definitely an opportunity to reduce your time in terms of how much you need to work on your core business. And the one thing around pricing and time reduction and cost reduction is plan, do, check, act. So plan, do it, check how you're doing, and then tweak it, right? So that's the efficiency game, really. If you're doing stuff, like Lisa said, that takes a normal amount of time, ask yourself what the return on value is, the return on investment, and then tweak it so that it either becomes more efficient or drop it if it doesn't actually return on the investment.
Yeah.
So it's knowing your numbers again. It's knowing what's happening, looking at it from the outside in rather than just staying in it as well a little bit.
Yeah. Now we are running a little close to the time, which we always knew was probably going to happen to us. We can't help ourselves, but we are really keen for you to make this an action-oriented session. We know that there can be a bit of a passiveness about webinars, but we really love you to get some clear actions around how you're going to take this forward and how you're actually going to improve your business. So on the last page of your workbook, you'll see a table of 5 actions that you can make some notes in. And just remember that a 10% increase across the board in each of these areas can lead to as much as a 60% increase in profit. So just take a bit of time. We'll go through each of the categories again. For each of those categories, based on your reflections, try and write one thing that you will do. Talk about by when you will do it, and then really power it up by saying how you will feel when it's done. So one of the keys to effective goal setting is to talk about how is to imagine and is to really put yourself in that position of how you will feel once it's in place. So we'll just run through each of those 5 drivers again. So the first one is about how you can be visible, how you can generate more leads, how you can reach more of the people that want and need what it is that you have to offer. The second point is around adding value, so is that they are inclined to convert into customers of yours. That may be as simple as asking, would you like to work with me? At the end of a conversation.
We're leading learners in that respect.
Yeah.
We learn these things and then we tell other people what we learned. Because we made those mistakes.
Yeah, and we have put suggestions through the workbook of things that you could add to these in your business if you're not already. And if you're not quite into your businesses yet, a lot of these principles actually hold for your own network. So we're a big believer in intrapreneur and entrepreneur models, which is even when you're not already in your own business, most of the principles of business actually hold in terms of your network and building these into your life. Number of transactions. So how is it that you can better understand your client's journey so as that they work with you on multiple occasions?
It might be as simple as asking an existing client, especially a return client.
The next one is about is mastering your money. So your average, what your average dollar per transaction is. This is really looking at how you're packaging your products and services. In particular, what you're pricing them, how many you're selling, and what time you're spending on them. So ultimately, you want to look at ways where they're more valuable, they're adding more value to your client, and therefore you can charge a higher price. But you also want to see how much time that's taking you. It's a false economy if your most expensive product is also the one that takes you 100 hours. Whereas your mid-level product is actually only takes you an hour and is leading to higher profits or leading to a better return for you.
Which then gets, you can link that to the time efficiency. So why would you promote an offer that has very little return on investment if you can use that same time and energy to promote an offer that is low touch and has a much higher return on investment in terms of your time? So that it drives a lot of the focus and attention as well.
Yeah, and the last one's about working smarter your profit margin. So this is really a commitment to maximizing what goes into your pocket. That may be as simple as starting to pay yourself from your business. First step, no matter how much, no matter how small. So hopefully we've given you some time to be able to put those goals down. Does anyone, I know we're running short on time, but did anyone want to share something that they are going to commit to?
Hello. I was wondering, you mentioned Elaine, you mentioned once before about a free website to start producing a website, and I didn't quite get it. I was walking past.
There's a few. We are using Strikingly. It's very basic. I think is Claire on the line?
Yeah, she is.
Claire, you want to jump in? Claire is our IT expert here. She does websites for a living. I'm not sure if she's able to talk though.
She may not be able
Hi, how you going? Sorry.
to.
Hi, Claire.
Hi. So you need a website, guessing you've got a limited budget.
No budget.
No budget. Yeah.
Limiting.
Limited, like a limited
We're
budget.
changing our wording here. We have a limited at this stage.
At the moment,
Yeah.
very good.
Okay.
What's your age?
So yeah, I know you guys use Strikingly. So the Entra Pages has free landing pages. Entra Pages, yeah, it's part of Entreport. So the free version is limited. So it's like if you're using PayPal, it only does US dollar currency or something like that. But it could be a good option if you just need, if you maybe want to start with just some lead generation and connect it to MailChimp. I haven't used it in detail because most of my landing pages I do on websites. So yeah, I put a post in the heart-centered group today talking about exactly this sort of thing. Like if you do have a little bit of cash to create a website, I do think it's worth investing that time and money into WordPress rather than something like Wix or Weebly, where you might spend $150 setting it up, and then I'm not sure what the costs are, maybe $30 per month, but it's ongoing, that $30 per month, and you've spent all this time in setting it up. And then once you go to do something, you'll go to you'll want to add a piece of functionality into your site, like a certain payment or something, certain system integration, or even a certain design, and you just won't be able to do it with WordPress, with Wix or Weebly, and then you'll have to go in and reinvest all of that money into WordPress, which is why I came up with, I'm just going to give myself a quick little plug and then I'll shut up, which is why I came up with my package, which I call Brand New Websites. So I set up WordPress and customize the design for you, and then I give you access to my online training course about how to add the content to the pages yourself with all drag and drop, similar to Wix and Weebly and whatnot. So that is $880 including the first year of hosting, but I can do absolutely flexible payment plans, whatever suits you. I just need a deposit to cover the hosting, and then we'll work out the rest.
Good stuff, Claire.
All right, thanks guys.
Thank you.
No worries. And I think, yeah, and I think that the main thing really, in terms of, and I think it's a really important point around languaging and saying, and trying to understand what it is you need and what it is that where you're going to direct your profits. So the biggest thing really, I suppose we want you to take away is that a profitable business is a sustainable business. And that's what's key. I think we know that this journey, particularly around money, particularly about owning your numbers in a business, is quite daunting for a lot of people. It can be a scary topic. It can be something that is influenced by lots of different factors as that comes in, and ultimately that's why we offer consults with our pricing for profit coaching package around really getting it clear for you, and that we take you through a process that says, okay, where are you at the moment against these drivers? What is your ultimate wealth profile? So we do a wealth profiling test that says where your natural skills are, what your natural strategy is to grow wealth in your life, and also how it relates to your business. So how you can use that to grow your business quicker and with ease. We do some work around your mindset, your money mindset, and help you set your rates once and for all, so as that you're not going backwards and forwards. We go through the Money Mastery Toolkit, which has been called a game changer by some of the people that have worked with us on it. It just breaks down everything that you need to know and really helps you make decisions about where to focus your efforts and your energy, particularly when we're talking about things such as, where do I invest first? I need money for XYZ websites, things like that. Well, this gives you a real clear view of where you should focus your promotions and your energy to bring money in the door quickest, so as that you can build the business quicker.
Yeah. And Claire bought the toolkit. She's saying she loves the toolkit. So thank you, Claire.
And yeah, we've had clients that as we go through these sessions, they've said, I just didn't know what to do around my pricing. I was always going backwards and forwards. And once I was clear, it completely changed which products what I wanted to offer, what services I wanted to offer. We had one client who said, oh my God, I'm doing this thing. It's not even profitable and I don't like it. What am I doing? So it gave them the clarity that they could actually drop something that they didn't like doing. So yeah, look, it's an amazing focus for your business to actually say, what am I going to price? And some people might be saying, well, I don't want to it's not even that I want to take home heaps of money. We've had clients who said, okay, I just want to take home $100 a week. That's what I want to contribute to the family budget. How can I do that consistently? And then, how can I make it $1,000? How can I make it $2,000 a week? What would my journey need to look like for me to build my business that way?
Yeah.
So, that's our pricing for profit coaching package. You want to jump in, Ellie?
We have a special offer. I know to me, it's kind of funny because it's such a webinar setup. But anyway, we are joining the online gang. So our offer for you, because you joined tonight or you sign up to the webinar and you're listening to the recording, is to give you $100 off. And if you sign up before Sunday, we'll give you a $50 US massage voucher, because who doesn't love massages, really? I'm not sure if that's applicable to you, Anne and Wendy, because you actually give massages and probably receive them as well regularly. But anyway, no, that's a shocker. You should build it into your costing. Like 1 hour massage.
Yeah. Yeah, and I suppose just want to emphasise that we definitely understand that this can be quite a daunting process. It can make you feel a bit uncomfortable, and you may need the massage afterwards. But we work really hard to make it not painful, so as that you actually enjoy working through it, and really get that clarity to drive your business forward. And again, make it sustainable, so as that you get up every morning, you're actually enjoying what you're doing, and you don't become a slave to your passion.
And that's it for us, really. Is there anything that anyone wants to throw in the group, chat about, run past us whilst you have us?
Any questions?
We help you with all our knowledge.
Well, thank you for joining us tonight, and hopefully you've liked the format. We love having it like this, so we can talk to people. We really love connecting with everyone in this group, and helping them grow their business.
1 second, I think Claire's got a question. What if I'm not ready for you to help me, e.g.? Oh, Raquel or Rachel. I'm always a bit unsure how to pronounce that, but
Sorry, I'll just unmute myself if that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, typing on my phone. So what if I feel like I'm not ready, that you'd be able to help me, like filling out the money mastery thing? So I found there were a lot of gaps, which was awesome that it made me realize that made me aware of those gaps. That I was like, yeah, wow, there's no funnel happening there. So is that something that you can work with, or do we need to be more prepared first?
Absolutely. I think that what Ellie and I always like to say is that you can't see it when you're in the frame. So as soon as you have somebody come and talk to you that's outside the frame, they help you see it straight away. And really, I think that this is setting your business up for success. So it doesn't matter even if you don't have a business yet. This is there is no too early time to have this conversation, because it really prioritizes what the next steps are for you and in which order will bring in the most money. So there's definitely no sort of judgment around where you're at and what place you are on your journey. What we're looking to do is help fill in the puzzle pieces, particularly when you can't see it yourself. And as Ellie alluded to before, we can't see it all the time for ourselves in our own business, which is why we get outside coaching help and support in our business. And that's what we offer for others as well.
Okay. Awesome. Cool. Thank you.
No worries.
We're not going anywhere else as well, Claire. So if not now, but maybe when you're ready as well.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Thank you.
You gotta have the space for it as well in your head.
Yeah.
So if you're when you're ready, you're ready. Although we do say sometimes you just got to start before you're ready, and then you realize that you're already ready. But anyway, in the end, it's your call.
Cool. Thank you.
All right. I think I'll probably just, unless anyone else wants to be on the recording, I might stop the recording. I'm happy to take any further questions before we finish up. I've just got to work out how to stop the recording. Thanks everyone for listening, and we look forward to connecting again soon.